taking a look at the next generation of Lenovo's certified for Microsoft Teams room system, the ThinkSmart Hub. Previously, this device was called the ThinkSmart Hub 500. Lenovo has retooled the device, has some cool new features to it. We're going to get this thing out of the box, check out what's new, and give you a demo and overview. Let's get to it. The ThinkSmart Hub has an 8th generation Intel Core i5 processor. There's 8 gigs of DDR4 memory, dual channel, as well as a 10.1 inch Full HD display with anti-glare, smudge-resistant touchscreen, and a 360-degree rotatable screen. There is 128 gig SSD storage on board, as well as an Intel Ultra HD graphics card. For audio, we have 4 3-watt full duplex premium tuned speakers, 4 360-degree dual array mics. For ports, we've got HDMI, USB 3.2 Type-C. There are 3 USB 3.2 Type-A's, 2 HDMI's, an RJ45 connection for your internet capabilities, a headphone/mic combo jack, and then of course the power in. Wi-Fi capabilities include an 802.11ac and Bluetooth Low Energy 5.0 connection points. The bottom of the device has 4 rubbery grips at the bottom to keep the device from sliding around on the table. You'll also notice a couple difference in form factors as we look at the device from this side. You've got a different angled position for the spinning portion of the ThinkSmart Hub. And up top, we have this kind of beveled edge that has been built in. Sharper edges, kind of a cleaner, more modern look, and makes it easy to kind of grip and turn the device without really touching or messing with the screen. The ThinkSmart Hub feels a bit more compact than the Hub 500. A little bit of a smaller footprint on the desktop, in my opinion. I believe that's what I'm perceiving anyway. And as we look in here, this is indeed a different way to do the cabling. The cabling was a really nice benefit of the last device, given that this is an all-in-one room system. Your compute is built right into the 10.1 inch screen for the touchscreen experience. So we have a one device experience rather than multiple devices with multiple wires. There was a pretty good cable management system with the last setup, but here you'll see we've got all these ports available down here and a redesigned cable management experience. There is a completely redesigned, reimagined cable management system on the ThinkSmart Hub. You'll notice that the very back of this piece here has the black that matches the side of the ThinkSmart Hub, as well as the red that matches the underside. This, with the braided cable covers to keep everything neat and tidy and looking at one solid cable, will plug right into the side of the ThinkSmart Hub. Each of the cables have already been pre-positioned to where they will simply plug right in to the ThinkSmart Hub on the side. You don't have to worry about which cable goes where and tucking the cables into their individual slots as you close up the cable cover. At the other end of this braided cable, we've got all the different ports available to plug in the peripherals or the HDMI, the internet connection, your power, USB-C, USB-A ports up top. Taking a look at all of our ports over here, before we get the one cable management system plugged in, and it plugs into all these ports right here. We take a look at the very top corner up there, and you'll notice the lighting is kind of bad, but there is an HDMI in port up there. And then all along the top, let me get this moved up here, we've got a little cable management slot to run our HDMI in, and it will come out this hole up top. Let's go ahead and get that plugged in. So we've got the HDMI cable here. It's going to go down into that corner. And as slick as the cable management system is on this device, it is not the most convenient angle to get that in there, but it gets in there. And then again, this is going to tuck right along the top here. Okay, connects in there. You can see it slipped into that little hole, ran through here, it holds it in place. We'll slip it behind there, and then it will come out right there. So that is our HDMI in at the very top. Now, this single cable setup is really slick. Everything is lined up. You can see that they are also held together so that they all fit in exactly as they match up to the ports inside of the ThinkSmart Hub. So before you connect it, you'll want to take the plastic cover, which is what actually connects to the device itself, and slide it down. It slides down on this braided cover for the cords here, and that lets us work this in. It's not very hard. They're all lined up. It's really easy. But once they're in, then we slide the cover back down and connect it. Let's flip the ThinkSmart Hub up on its side. That's where it's easiest to do this, and we'll get the pieces connected in. Okay, with the hub on its side, we can line everything up exactly as it needs to be. And again, with the way that they're all put in, it just slides right in. There's no fussing. There's no trying to get it connected. They just slide right in into the spots they need to be in. They're ready to rock. Now, the cover comes down. Kind of need to lift up our HDMI in cable off to the side. And you can see it fits into that little groove up top. And we slowly and carefully bring this cover back down into place. There are slots that it kind of fits into on the side here. And then it will slide and lock into place. Okay, we're a little bit caught up on something here. So there we go, slide past it. And it slides right down, clicks in. Look, almost there. I think I skipped a spot. There we go. Click. We are clicked in. It is flush on all sides. If you want to open it again, you just press those little spots right there and it will pop right up. Bringing it back down. You can see we've got the one cable management connected in, flush with the outside. HDMI in is off on its own, and all the rest of the cables are connected in through here. You've got your Kensington lock spot right over here. We can see that we've got the one cable management system plugged in to the ThinkSmart Hub back there. This is the other end. We've got all of our ports, again, USB-A, USB-C, HDMI, and the power and Ethernet at the bottom. Now, if we want to neatly tuck away all of our cables being plugged in somewhere nice, maybe mounted on a wall somewhere, we have this stylish little hub box here that a couple screw holes at the bottom to be mounted on a surface, can be screwed in right over here in the corner to keep it shut. And to open it up, we see this side is where all the cables will go in from your devices to the hub. This is actually coming out to go to the hub. So we're gonna put the box right here into this side. So to open this up, we simply slide it out. Once it's slid out, it lifts up and slides off. You can see we've got these grooves in the side that line up with little notches on the inside of the cover to line it all up. And on the very inside, you've got this whole section with these little marks here. They mean do not put the actual box itself right there. The box goes in this flat area, and the cables will go to either side of this right here. So first, obviously, you would screw this into place, and then we take the box and it slides in right here. You'll notice the cables line up on either side of that little divider in the center there. But it is an exact fit, so you carefully work it into place. And I made a silly mistake. It's not going all the way in because I put it upside down. So let's flip that, and you'll notice it's upside down because at the very bottom, you've got a single cable versus two up top. And then you can see this is designed to have that single cable at the bottom. So take your time, do it right, slide it into place. Again, it is an exact fit. So we get it slid right in there, and now we can see that it's sitting flush with the top. And those cables are all laying exactly as they should. On the flip side of this, all of our ports are right in there. So let's go ahead and start plugging things in, and then we'll get the cover of the box put on top of it. Okay, we got all the ports ready to go in here. As mentioned, we already have the HDMI plugged into the device itself. So now we're gonna go ahead and plug in the HDMIs. We can do dual screen if we want. We're only gonna use one today, but we'll plug in the HDMI. We will plug in a RJ45 cable, and we'll plug in a power cord right over here. If we have other peripheral devices that we want to plug in, a camera or anything like that, they would come into the USB slots down here below. HDMI for our display. Put it into the slot here. It'll go on this side, and we'll plug in to that first HDMI slot. In, down, good. Power cord goes into the upper left-hand corner over here. We'll take that, plug it in, and then of course the power cord can be tucked in here because it's got, you know, this little thick part that we don't want coming out. So that'll just sit right inside. RJ45 cable, we can see that sitting right back here. Take that in. Connected, boom. And finally, we've got a USB-A connection for our camera. Got a couple spots down there for that. All right, so one little tip, when you're trying to plug in something that's on the bottom row, USB, you probably want to plug the USB in first, a little easier to get to. But now that we've got everything in there, kind of tuck those cables up in, all good. We've got our cover. Again, this is the branded cover, and it slides in a very specific way. We can tell this side has the opening for the single opening, the other side has dual openings. All right, once we've got the grooves lined up, it slides into place. You can see all of our cables coming out that side. You can see the cables for the ThinkSmart Hub on that side. And that's the branded hub, allowing you to, again, screw this onto the wall, under the table, wherever you need to keep cables tucked neatly out of the way. And with our Lenovo ThinkSmart Hub all plugged in, set back up on the desktop, with a display plugged in and a camera set up right up top there, we can go ahead and power this thing on. The power button sits at the front of the device, right at the bottom down here, plugged in, so we'll go ahead and press that. And there it goes, lighting up, nice and pretty. We got a light indicator up top here as well as the familiar ring light that we've got around the bottom of the device from the ThinkSmart Hub 500. As it powers up, take a look over at our display. We can see that we are coming to life. It recognizes our HDMI connection through this new cable management system here. And just a moment, it tells us. We go ahead and select our language. We're gonna stick with the United States. I haven't really brushed up on my British accent. I'm not sure if I'd read the words correctly here or not. The region is United States, sure thing. We say yes. And keyboard layout, again, we're going to go with the US. We're not going to add a second keyboard at the moment, but you obviously can. At this point, it finishes its initial power on and installation, getting the Microsoft Teams Room app set up for us. We see the same thing over here duplicated on our monitor. And we'll be patient while it comes online. There's the Microsoft Teams app loading, starting up. We see it over here as well. And it actually shows up a little bit blue on camera here because of my brightness settings, I'm guessing. But it is the Microsoft Teams official purple on screen to the naked eye. Stepping back, we get a full view of our setup. We've got the ThinkSmart Hub sitting in the middle of the table, the monitor plugged in via HDMI behind it, the camera sitting right up top, mounted to the wall, and our cable management system bringing all that into the ThinkSmart Hub. It's powering on right now, so the screens are duplicated, and we are checking for updates. The initial boot up goes through a bit of a process where everything gets started up, updated for the first time, apps are installed that need to be installed properly, and gets us to the point where we can sign into Microsoft Teams. So once the system is done updating and getting everything in place that it needs to, it comes to this claim device to ThinkSmart Manager, and ThinkSmart Manager is a utility that you can use for managing multiple devices from Lenovo. As we're not doing that in this video, we'll click skip for now. The first thing we need to do is type a new password in here for the default admin password. You'll notice down here that it says tap or long press to open the on-screen keyboard. So I'm going to do a long press there. There we go, comes up, and we'll get a new password input. Once we've got the password we want, we say change password. And we see the Microsoft Teams Room System app is getting a kickstart here. I'm going to pan over really quickly. We're on our setup screen, and we see that familiar Microsoft Teams Room System background on our display. So we are in business with Microsoft Teams, the app. Let's go ahead and step through the setup process here. We've got our EULA. We will accept that. Click next. You got to put in an account to sign in. Now this is where we would want to have our room system account created and ready to go with the proper meeting room licensing. I'm going to use my own personal account right now just to get us going. After you input your username and password, we've got the supported meeting mode here. It defaults to Skype for Business only, which kind of makes me chuckle a little bit because that's just not the norm these days. But you have your Skype for Business as the default with Teams, or Skype for Business with Teams as a default. That brings us into the future. You can toggle on Modern Auth here as well. We'll skip that. And then, of course, if you have a optional domain username, you can put in there and configure domain. We're not going to do that. And we say finish. After going through the initial setup and inputting your credentials in, making your selections, the machine boots up one more time. And it finishes up. We can see we're signed in. We've got our username and the phone number up top for the account that we're signed in with. As it gets us online, connects to our local network, it should pick up an IP address automatically if DHCP is enabled. Figures out what we're licensed for, and you can see it through a dial pad in there once it realized I was enabled for calling. We've got new meeting, present, and more. If we go into more, you see we can invite this room right from up top here, our accessibility options, restart the device, and then settings. You also can see that we've got the volume control down here as well. We'll go into settings, prompts you for the administrator password. It lets us in, and this is where we see all the different settings here, our app version, Windows version, the IPv4 address we just picked up, the host name that it's given. You got some notices up here. Automatic password rotation is off. We've got our account information that we signed in with. We're not going to go back through that. The advanced section we saw earlier. For our meetings, you have a few options up here. You can see we have automatic screen sharing, show meeting names, and leave meetings automatically if everyone else has left. Good things to consider. They're all on by default. They can be turned off. For the device, you can use dual monitor mode. We only plugged in one, so we're not going to do that. Bluetooth beaconing is enabled, automatically accept proximity-based meeting invitations. On this screen, you'll see we've got our peripherals. We can mess around with our audio if we have other audio devices plugged in, and content camera if we were using content camera capabilities. Our theme, you can set that. And then finally, Windows settings will prompt you for signing in to the administrator account and managing the device from the Windows operating system. We're not going to do that. We're going to stay in the Teams app. So we click back on the Skype sign-on, and it brings us back into the Teams app. Once back into the system, you can see that just like with any other MTR, you can click the dial pad, dial your number here, place a call if you need to. Going back out to the main screen, we've got the present option. So if we have, right back here, we've got the HDMI cable for presenting with your own laptop. We can do that as well. And then we can say new meeting. And if we do that, we put the name or number of a person in here. Okay, I have now invited this account, which should be a room account, but it's mine, to a meeting, a Microsoft Teams meeting, and it shows up right here on the left-hand side, kind of reorganizing our interface. This is all standard Microsoft Teams room stuff. We click join, we see our green light goes at the bottom there, and everything kind of puts us on hold. Well, it says we are in the lobby. Someone should let you in soon. So I will go ahead, and we can exit the lobby if we don't want to wait in there, but I will start this meeting, and that way we'll be admitted in and we can see the behavior of the call. So I'm now admitting. All right, to prevent some of that feedback, I have admitted myself in the meeting, and we have gone ahead and muted on both sides. So now we're red because we're muted down here. But you'll see we've got all the regular controls down at the bottom. We've got the ability to turn our camera on or off. So camera is now on. And if we look at the bottom corner there, you'll see that, oh, there we are, right at the bottom of the screen, so we can see our video is on. Zooming back out, you've got my other camera, which is obviously pointed down on my desk at the moment. We'll go ahead and grab that. Hello. And coming back over to the screen, we can manage all other components of this call. So we can unmute ourselves if we need to. We can go into here and do the keypad again. We've got our volume up and down. We can raise our hand or lower our hand if we need to. And of course, add participants if we want to do that up top. We'll go ahead and drop from the call on the other end, which gets rid of that camera and makes our camera take over our monitor. So now we are using the poly camera right up top that we used as a peripheral in our Lenovo ThinkSmart Hub, and that's what we're looking at here with a rather disheveled device-laden background. Coming back over to our ThinkSmart Hub, at this stage we would now say, wow, that was a great meeting. Let's go ahead and hang up. And call ends. And that is Lenovo's next generation ThinkSmart Hub. Just like with the ThinkSmart Hub 500, this is an all-in-one device bringing you speakers, microphone, compute, touchscreen, all-in-one interface with a brand new, redesigned, innovative, one-of-a-kind cable management system on the side here. Just like with other Microsoft Teams rooms, you get the familiar Microsoft Teams experience, one-touch join capability, dual monitor capabilities. In addition to being able to use the ThinkSmart Manager for managing multiple hub devices, these will also show up in the Microsoft Teams Rooms portion of the devices section of the Microsoft Teams Admin Center, where you can update firmware, update the Teams app, take a look at call quality issues, manage the device in whole from there as well. Well, there you go, Lenovo ThinkSmart Hub. I hope this video was useful and helpful, and if it was, as I always ask, please splash it all around social media. If you are not already subscribed to this YouTube channel, there is a very handy link at the bottom of this video in the little corner down there to subscribe. I strongly encourage you to do so, and don't forget to turn on notifications for when I come out with new videos so that you stay in the know. Thanks again for watching, and I hope we'll see you back here for the next overview video.